Hi, my name is Michael Dominguez, and I'm the president and CEO of Associated Luxury Hotels International, better known as ALHI. I get to come to you today with the latest industry update and what we're seeing from a macro level, globally, and then both in the United States. Globally first, let's start there. Where I'm really excited and still bullish about 2024. The latest release from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, when they look at world forecasts of GDP, you don't see a recession anywhere. We see growth in every region of the world in their latest forecast. Again, not seeing a recession, not seeing a real slowdown, and that should be encouraging for a global economy. When we look at what is happening with CEOs and where their concerns are, and this is from a global perspective, McKinsey in their latest report, they released a report that actually showed the number one concern of CEOs is the geopolitical situation that we are experiencing around the globe. Probably not a surprise to anybody, as we have conflicts around the world. We have tensions with trading partners and with business partners that have been partners of the United States for a long period of time. And most importantly, coming up, I know we talk about the US election, but we tend to forget that 60% of the world's GDP will go through an election this year. 40% of free societies will have an election, and almost 2 billion people will vote. That'll change the landscape. It is going to change literally relationships, and it's something we're going to have to take a look at moving forward. As we come to the United States, the one thing we have been talking about now, we've gone from recession to soft landing. Soft landing in its simplest terms means that we literally can bring down inflation without killing employment. And right now we're seeing that. We're not seeing high unemployment. Yes, it has risen just a little bit, but overall, employment is still strong. We still have more jobs open than people available. So overall, the job market is telling us we don't see a recession in sight, and inflation has pretty much been in check over the last few months. I think it's important to note though, the rate of inflation is what's declining. It doesn't mean pricing is coming down, it just means the rate of growth has slowed down. That's an important distinction, because when we hear about declining inflation, at times we think things are getting cheaper. It's important when we're talking to our stakeholders so that they understand why pricing will still continue to go up, specifically around meetings and events. And then one of these underlying metrics that people really aren't seeing is our youth are working again. 16 to 19-year-olds have the highest work rate we've seen and participation rate in the workforce since 2010. The millennials were a generation that did not work part-time and in school, and we're seeing Generation Z working in numbers again that we haven't seen in decades. That's important. That's important for our industry. They've always been an important resource of labor for the hospitality and meetings and events industry. I'm excited about that trend line, and basically, the way I've been phrasing it, Generation Z is a working generation. That should be very, very exciting for everybody out there. As a hotel industry, I can tell you that we're still strong. Group is back. The rate of demand has slowed down just a bit, but we expected that. And considering we're carrying this kind of demand, and international travel is still not back, it's quite impressive, and it shows you a lot about the health of our industry. Our booking windows, I think there's some narratives that are out there that we have to really break, but the narrative has been that everything is so short-term. We're seeing a lot of short-term meetings. What we're seeing right now is the booking windows are exactly the same as they were back pre-pandemic. I tend to joke that we just don't remember because it was so long ago and the pandemic was like dog years. So unfortunately, we don't remember that was the environment. We're back to norm. I think one thing that is really important to point out, we had record revenue as an industry. So 2023 is now the new benchmark. But during that time frame of record revenue, we continue to see declining profit within the hotels. That just means the expenses of running the hotels is continuing to push at a rate as fast, if not faster, than the rate of growth of revenue. There's still a lot of pressure there, and that's important to understand, because sometimes when we hear record revenue, we think that the hotel environment is very easy from an operational perspective, and it's still very, very challenging. Rates will stay high because of this, and it's the question I always get. When are rates going to go backwards? They're not. They can't go backwards because expenses have gone up at a rate, and inflation, as I just said earlier, is slowing down but not going backwards. The positive to take away, we're back to rates of growth, and we're back to normal patterns that very much look like our normal trend lines, our long-running trend lines in an industry. Compression is still there. We are still tight on space. It doesn't mean we don't have pockets. Everybody has pockets and holes, so make sure to do your research and do your digging. But compression is going to continue to be pushed in our industry when you think about convention centers that are going under renovation and or expansion that are having to move or shut down or be limited with their capacity over a short period of time. And I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Airbnb and their removal of so many listings, not only globally, but in the United States as well. New York alone had almost 19,000 listings that were removed from the market. Well, that's 19,000 rooms on any given night that are no longer available, which will continue to compress a compressed market. I'm overall bullish about 2024. So far, everything looks good. Yes, we are really concerned about some of the things going on around the world, but as is, we should be all very excited about an exciting and very, very vibrant 2024. On behalf of ALHI and the entire family of ALHI, thank you for all your support, and we wish you a wonderful year.